live. It's always spinning in circles, so I'm just going to kind of go with it and hope. Does it say live on your end?
It says we are live on my end.
Okay, great. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. This is the episode before 2300. So I can't believe it. I've done 2300 shows. And like, people that don't believe me, I got my first channel taken down, but like, you know, where you can check all the episodes, they're on my, no, I don't think anybody doesn't believe me, but I mean like all the episodes are on my audio podcast. Like I have every single show I've ever done on there. I think it goes back at least 4 years, you know, I've been doing this 6 years, but like, I don't know, but my guest today is someone I really look up to in the community, and I'm honored every time she comes on my show. I think she's a really strong voice in our community, and I just watched one of her most recent talks, and it blew me away because, you know, she's very open-minded, but she's also skeptical about the alien presence and what their true intentions are, and then also, you know, she also can blend old school ufology with the current state of what's going on as far as like my labs and secret space program and reptilians and all the current stuff that we talk about. So, but you know, I always say to know where you're going, you have to know where we've been. And that's why I think a lot of people don't know. They don't know their ufology history. And that's what Andrea specializes in. And just a little bit more about my guest. Andrea Martin is the host of the popular YouTube channel GrowingUpAlien, where she shares her theory of not feeling not of this world and chronicles experiences as a Pleiadian walk-in. With a deep awareness of extraterrestrial realities, she's brought the UAP discussion into the mainstream visibility while exploring the unseen layers of current existence. Tonight, we'll talk about, you know, why we're being treated as an inventory on a slave planet, unpacking the hidden agenda. She might show some real footage of UAPs. That would be great. The emerging threat, synthetic life forms, and how humanity might be compromised, and practical takeaways, what we can do right now to regain our sovereignty. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Andrea, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
Grand Rob, it's always so cool. And I can't wait to have you back on our channel to do a fun live for sure. And actually, you're on right now. We're going to do a stream share, right? So.
Yeah. And like I said, I watched your most recent talk, and like I love the fact that you know, I know you accept the fact that you're like a Pleiadian walk-in, that you have like an extraterrestrial like husband and stuff, but like at the same time, you're like skeptical about the alien presence, like what their true intentions are, why they can't help us, you know, what is actually going on, you know. And I actually really like resonated with that. I was like, why can't they help us? You know what I mean? It was interesting where you said, it was so funny. I quoted you. You said something. You're like, then you'll have those people who believe the Billy Myers story. They're like, oh, the Pleiadians here, and they're going to help us. And then you were like, yeah, we'll see how they get fucked. You know, and that was hilarious. Like, I started cracking up when I heard that. But like, so I love the way you're thinking about stuff, and you know, it's really refreshing. You know.
Well, you know, I don't like to be sort of a guru. You know, my channel is all about other people as much as it can be. You know, I usually kind of just say, you know, sort of I don't know, explore an idea that either is a life experience I had or contact that I've had, and then bring on other people, just like what you're doing, really, you know, and then bring on other people and have them share experiences. So to me, that is a critical aspect of trying to move this whole, I guess, depending on your perspective, liberation of the planet forward. Disclosures, people call it disclosure. We are disclosure. And the more people that can come forward expressing their stories, expressing their concerns, that's how we're going to move forward. If you look at some of the contracts that were signed between, say, you know, Majestic 12 and the industrial military complex with these extraterrestrial groups, the exchange was between 100 and 150,000 people every year. And this was decades ago. So if you do the math, there's millions of people that have gone through. I mean, a lot of them were, you know, killed, obviously, but it's mind-numbing the number of people who have either experienced abduction or MyLabs or MK Ultra or any other kinds of nefarious exchanges between the Earth corporation and extraterrestrial races. I mean, there's so many people, and this is the wave that can't be stopped. it's easy for the government to silence a few celebrity speakers. It's always the same people that come forward, you know. They can't silence, you know, 500,000 to 1 million people.
Yeah. Yeah. And the internet kind of helps us, right? It's like the internet can be annoying and stuff. And it can be like it can be bad, but it can also be good in ways. It can it's a great way to share information, and it's a great way to break stories, and it's a great way for people to organize. It's a great way for people to keep in touch with what's going on, and that's like the 90s. Like when you look at the 90s and all those abduction researchers that died, like Carla Turner and Barbara Bartholomew, and I feel like John Mack was murdered too. I mean, I don't know who steps out in front of a car and you know what I mean? You think that he would look wet. He would look, I hope that doesn't happen to me. I hope I didn't jinx myself. Sometimes I feel like that, anyway, I think he was murdered. You know what I mean? I'm
glad you brought him up, because that's actually what we're going to tie into in a bit, which is likely he was mind controlled. And this is a way for them to do that, is to simply get into your head and get you to, suicide. And that's part of where we're going to go tonight. But I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So you think John Mack was mind controlled? Absolutely. Wow. Do you think he was mind controlled to push a certain narrative?
Well, you can be. This is the extinction level event that Jamie Martinez from MK Ultra talks about. So in most of your viewers, of course, myself and probably yourself, and again the people watching, have been either MK Ultra secret space program or MyLab, and that's all mind control.
Yeah, or abducted by aliens, a real abduction. If that, if that's.
Yeah. So they don't need, chips in your head. They can do that, but it's just frequency now. They can bounce this stuff off of satellites. They can throw the satellites into pocket dimensions. They can pull them out when they need them. So they've gone way past the old handler stories. There's still handlers and things like that, but it's very easy for them to biohack, to hack into your mind, hack into your consciousness, and simply just take over your body.
Yeah. This is I just wanted to bring this up. I know this is a question from Sovereign Connor Wildman. This is going to drive me nuts. And I know you'll probably know the answer to this, because I know you followed you well. He says, what was the name of the well-known alien researcher that died in a car accident in Santa Barbara? Some think the accident was orchestrated to take him out. Do you know? I don't know. I honestly don't.
I'd have to look that up. The only one I know from would be Rob Potter. I knew Rob Potter.
Yeah,
he just recently passed. That was certainly suspicious for sure, because they had gotten Rob into a car accident a few months before. It was around December of that same year.
Wow.
And we told him, I said, and he was fighting with us. I'm like, Rob, that was no accident. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's just I'm like, that was not an accident. They did the same thing to me in 2016. They tried to take me out in a head-on collision. It's what they do. So they mind control the other driver.
Yeah, they can target. They can do that with targeting, right? Like V2K or what?
No, they don't. They can use a frequency. I have a video. So this was done, I don't know, through some of the military labs. There was a scientist that was able to figure out a way in which you could use frequency. So initially, when he did the experiment, he could only do it to target one person. So you could. But then they were able to work with it and get a target entire groups. So I actually have a video on my channel in my shorts that shows just a regular, this is just like junk science type, because you can imagine how good the military is when they use it. So this actually shows in a college classroom, the professor's up demonstrating this technique, and he's able to, by getting two different frequencies, two radio frequencies, to come together at a certain point when they're sent forward. You can't hear anything in the room, but if it's pointed at you, it's voice to skull. You hear it in your head. So I have it a live college classroom where this was being demonstrated to students in the classroom.
Wow. So it's like a frequency that emits V2K or voice to skull. Yeah, that's scary. That's really scary.
And this is just, again, this is just in a college classroom. This is like bare bones, basic tech. What the military is using is probably 50 times this. But it shows you in live time how it would work. So nobody else can hear it. Only the people that are having it, funneled towards them. and you'll hear it in your head. And that's the type of voice to skull. You don't need the tech. There's no implant in people's heads. This is just, and this is how they can do it. They don't need, this is part of what I'll talk about a little bit too, with the chips, that they're trying to digital ID and all that kind of stuff, and people getting implants. But that's actually really old school. You don't need that. They're only using that, I suspect, to desensitize people. And they've been doing this since the 2017, 2018 period. So
I can imagine. Yeah, that's crazy. Holy shit. Like, where was I going to go? I just total mind wipe. I just feel like I got mind wiped myself. Like, I hate when that happens. Like, one thing that you were going to bring up tonight was synthetic life form or something like that. Like, and the fact that we're in inventory on a slave planet. Did you want to start with that kind of?
Because I can kind of lead it around, because that's actually part of, this is about what I talked to, as I had mentioned before we came live, Michael Sala. And I said, look, these people who think the GFW and they're all here to save us. I'm like, well, let's look deeper into what's happening here, because the abductions that were happening on this planet, abductions are not legal in space. You cannot abduct people. Okay, so that was happening by the thousands every year, and it's like they didn't do anything. They didn't try to stop it, nothing. So that's a little weird to me, And then there's the how can I don't know if we're on YouTube, so I have to be careful. Okay, so the it's called the ICC sometimes, the
Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, right?
We can call it that, so, but this is also a wing of it's a massive part of the cabal. The cabal itself on Earth is, I'm going to say probably about 60% of the ICC, right? So they sell, so they own the Earth. They basically farm the crust, and we're what's being, farmed. Basically, the Terrans are being farmed. Then they also sell products, and they also sell things that they've mined, and that sort of, whatever. So you can't sell slaves in space. That's illegal. So if these benevolent ETs, these supposedly, police of the galaxy groups that are around Earth and saving the day for us, why are they allowing illegal slave trade to occur openly off the planet?
Yeah, and we know that's Renetta talked about that, and a lot of people talk about that's like the DNA. That's like the currency out in space is like DNA in the galactic slave trade. Like, it's a huge thing. Like, it's maybe I guess it has to be being done like in a rogue way or something, kind of like how human trafficking is done here. Maybe that's how it's done on. But like, if you listen to like Tony Rodriguez's story, he was like, that's a really, him and there's a couple people who were kind of like slaves in space. It's very interesting, but it's horrible. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to wrap your head around, but it seems like it's actually happening. Like, I believe Tony, I believe him 100%. Like, but I mean, like, it's just hard to, what I mean? Like, fathom, a lot of people don't make it back, right? Like, I mean, we have the missing 211 and all kinds of other stuff. Like in Alaska, a lot of Native women go missing and they never come back. Like, it seems like all over the world. I don't know where I was kind of going with that, but I think with the galactic slave trade. Sorry, yeah.
No, I mean, it's well known. Everybody knows. I mean, see, I think so. There has been a hijacking of reality in the ET community where, and I suspect it's a lot of infiltration, obviously, from the cabal itself, because this started in the 80s and 90s with the New Age stuff. So there's some innocuous New Age stuff, for sure. There's people who just enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it starts to become popular, or when it starts to kind of influence more people in the population, and when it gets merged with off-planet exopolitical situations, that is when the cabal becomes involved. And a lot of your channelers from the 80s and 90s were all being mind V2K mind controlled by handlers and agents, and also that was rooted in those days with the gray technology as well. So they wanted to hijack and control what kind of information was being fed out there. And this information was still being fed, and it's still being fed right now as we speak on many of these social media channels, where people are always talking about how happy and wonderful the ETs are and how advanced they are and how we have to fix ourselves, and humanity is just not progressing, and it's not light and love, and it's not fluff, and all the aliens are trying to save us, and that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Because
it's like you said, like, why aren't they helping us? Like, why? It's almost like they want us to figure it out for ourselves, but it's like they won't like lift a finger to really actually help. And I don't understand that. And then they say there's like the Star Trek thing where they say that they can't like, interfere. Like, well, like the Greys interfered for like years, and like it seems like aliens only want to interfere when it benefits their agenda. Well,
I mean, the thing is, everybody's being fed all these stories with zero proof.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
When somebody writes a book and has the prime directive, which is from Star Trek, and they say, "Oh, it's in my book." See, it's like, well, that's not any proof whatsoever. It just means you copied over the prime directive, put it in a book, self-published it, and now you're showing it to me. That's bullshit. That ain't real. So, and I counter them with, well, if there are these wonderful organizations in space, then why are they openly allowing slave trade off this planet? They know 100% is happening. Absolutely. Is widespread. The galaxy is a mess. You have asteroids and planets, the Kuiper Belt. You have all kinds of spread out all over the place, just rogue civilizations doing whatever they want. And, you'll hear people tell you, oh, the GFW is watching over Earth and nobody comes and goes. And that's been going on for a while. And it's like, well, I don't know where they're looking, but they seem to look away every time one of our craft leaves the planet full of slaves. Now, I bilocated. It was about 2 years ago. It was a bilocation with a time slip. So I actually bilocated into the past. And when I bilocated onto a craft, I was there. So in my real body was there. And this, I'm like, wow. I mean, the craft was full of humans, Earth humans. And it was a rescue. So it was a Pleiadian craft, and they had rescued these people who were being trafficked. And there was quite a few of them. So there are actually Terrans, Earth humans on different planets out there, real benevolent planets who have been rescued from this slave trade, and they don't usually go back home. They usually kept. So if you go to Era, you'll see Terrans that are living there now that were rescued from a lot of this crap. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of.
What does Ika think? I know for people for my audience, I know your audience knows about Ika, but like for my audience that doesn't know, so she has a husband that's not from this world. He's Pleiadian. And he gives her intel about like what's going on, and like it sounded like from what you said earlier that Ika's kind of fed up with like what's going on.
Well, he was abducted. So his story. So Ika is living here on Earth. He's actually in a base in Pacific Palisades, and that's of course why they had the fires in Pacific Palisades, because there is a base there north of Santa Monica that goes into the hillside. And it goes also under the ocean, of course. And it's a benevolent ET base, and it's partially militarized. So there are extraterrestrials, of course, that will land there, and then they will then move out and disperse into the community and assist. There are extraterrestrials all over the world. Well, not all over, but mostly in urban areas where they are assisting the population. And there are extraterrestrials who have been here for thousands of years, and I mean benevolent ones. You go to Italy, Pescara, Italy. You got Spain, the United States. There's bases. There's a base here in Massachusetts. You look at a fellow like Bob Renault, who worked with the Corendi, who have the base out in the Berkshires. I mean, this is it's all over the planet. Okay, so Ika was Ika joined the Galactic Federation of Worlds when I star-seeded here, and he worked for them in the military capacity. He was a pilot. He's done many different things. He gained the rank of commander, which is a miracle. We know how he last one. Like, I know how he did that, because he's not a military guy. What happened was the Galactic Federation of Worlds made are in contact and were in contact with the Earth military as well as the Earth some Earth political figures and some of the Cabal figures. Okay, so they made deals with the United States Air Force after much negotiation to give them troops, basically, a group, cut off a section of their military, their ET military, and have them work here under the United States Air Force under an ET Special Forces division. They were trained, they would come down here, and part of the deal that was made with the United States Air Force was that the ET could not leave the base and have contact with civilians. But they lived on the base. So Ika and his crew spent most of their time at Edwards Air Force Base in California. He also went to Eglin and traveled to different bases. They did a lot of time travel work in Eglin Air Force Base. Anyway, while he was stationed here and his men were stationed here, no women, they don't bring women down. I mean, the ETs will bring women down, but they will not bring them into a military setting, well, generally. And you know why. So
I also heard I heard you say earlier that they won't let a ET woman come alone. Like she always has to have a male guardian.
You'll see escorts with her. Yeah, either a husband, a brother, or one or two men that'll always be around her. Yes.
Is that because they don't trust humans?
Correct.
Wow, that shows a lot about humanity, right? I mean, like, honestly, you know what I mean?
Their women are very beautiful, and they know. They know what goes on down here. So, so Ika's squadron, come to find out. So he was there about 15 years. This summer, he resigned after we had Galactic Court. So they were the military. I also talked to another fellow, extraterrestrial. So it wasn't just the United States military that have ET divisions. So this is the Canadian military also has an ET division. So one of the Hell men who was with that was tortured.
Wow! Holy shit!
They were tortured by our military to shut them up. Ika was tortured. They were going down to clear out the dumps on one mission, and you had the ET squadron, and then you had the Earth military, right? And the Earth military guys, the Air Force and some other special forces, I guess. I don't know military. See them. I just saw them. So they were going down in the dumps, and Ika was leading his command, and they were in full battle uniform, not fully dressed up yet. They hadn't gone down to the layers yet. And as they were walking down, one of the Air Force officers turned around and smashed him in the face. And he said, "Shut up." So the ETs that were working here were intimidated, tortured, and controlled. Some were raped. I know Ika was not raped, but I know some of his men were.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like humans did this to them?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. See, like Kitsilio puts a point. He says to me, he says, Rob, women are abducted. Wait, I'm just going to put this up. It's like he says women are, it's moving slow. Sorry. He says, Rob, women are abducted and assaulted by ETs on a regular basis. But like, we know that Kitsilio, but those were by like gray aliens or reptilians. Like these aren't like Pleiadians that are like friendly, like who her people are, or like Pleiadians that are friendly. There's a difference. I think like we know that already, Kitsilio. Like, but like, I just want to clarify that. Like, but okay, sorry. Yeah. I just like to answer the call.
That statement is correct, because the women and men are sold as slaves off planet, and they are used by humanoids. So other humans off planet, so ET humans, they are using human slaves.
Yeah. But now it's like happening but like humans are actually abusing ETs now too. It's so like what this is crazy. It's like a psychotic, you know what I mean? It's like we're dealing with like a bunch of like ETs and humans that are crazy, but then there's good folks trying to fight for good too. So it's like, it's insane actually,
Well, there's no separation. There's no Earth human. I mean, there's Earth humans, but there's no separation. We are all in a solar system. There is no separation between people on this planet and people living on other planets. They are, you are.
Well, sorry, I was going to say, well, I think a lot of times we think of us as being separate because people feel like we're on a prison planet. You know what I mean? That's
no. You're on an open. This is Earth. It's floating in the sun system. There are other humanoids around you. I mean, there's Mars was inhabited. The moon is inhabited. Venus is inhabited. Jupiter, Saturn. It's like it's all inhabited. Some of the asteroids are inhabited. Your SSP people will tell you all about that. No, and we are, right now one of the last planets here in the sun system that has not been fixed yet. And that I think has something to do with the inventory situation. But anyway, Ika, I resigned from the GFW and Ika resigned from the GFW this summer because, there is another, I just going to give as an analogy is there's a situation that no repercussions were ever doled out by any galactic group for what was done to their own crew.
Wow. So what does that mean then? Like, what is like?
I don't know. It pisses me off. I mean, this is nuts.
Yeah. Like, I mean, do you think they'll try to get like retaliation or something like that, or like?
Well, we're gonna seek a lot, and I think this again is part of the problem, because not only do you have the envoys that are here, right, that have been betrayed, shafted, and abandoned in a forlorn hope. We're gonna sue. And in Galactic Court, this is all going to go through. This is illegal. This is all going to go through. It's just mind-numbing. The depravity, the ego, the service to self that some individuals on these ET federations are openly and flagrantly enacting left and right without anybody saying anything. What the hell is going on? And so for Ika, the thing for him was that when he was abducted, off-planet men, so certainly for the Pleiadian, they're quite strong. They're much stronger. They're on military trained. They're much stronger than human men. So they would frequency drug Ika, and then they would drug him. The military would take blood and whatever else they wanted from him. And then they sent him up to the Greys. And the Greys basically divided him up like a pizza. They took templates DNA. They cloned him. They hybridized him. We have 13 hybrid children now from the Greys that survived.
Shit.
Yeah. They were sending these. So the thing is with abductions, it isn't just humans getting abducted. Well, it isn't just Earth people that get abducted. The ETs get abducted too. Space is a dangerous Clockwork Orange, Star Wars, brutal cowboy Wild West mafia place.
Wow. So it's like kind of like as above, so below, right?
Oh, I think it's far worse in space, to be honest.
Really?
Not safe.
It's pretty bad down here, I mean, like.
It's everywhere. I mean, you go into space, you have, entire planets and colonies that are absolutely brutal. I mean, if you look at the history of the Umo, so the Umites, right? It was, I mean, they were kind of like Earth. They were torturing and enslaving their own people. Same thing as they were doing on Earth. So this is not rare. People know the Draco every day. And that's another thing that's happened is that people have pulled out certain groups like, the Naboo Greys and the Draco Reptilians. There's a bunch of idiots up there. The Draco Reptilians enslaved their own people. You have many Draco Reptilians that through an act of God, whatever you want to call it, were able to free themselves from those assholes, get themselves off the planet. And many in the federations and also some of the benevolent militaries are Draco Reptilian fighting their own.
Wow. So they're not like very cool with their own species, I guess. The reptilians. No. I never knew that. I thought they were kind of like,
No,
That's
brutal. Yeah.
is there different classes of the reptilians too? I heard there's like a warrior class and supposedly and
yeah, there's thousands of different species and races up there.
wow. Why do you think, I don't know if I've ever asked you this, like this is like the age old question, right? Like why are they hiding? Why is like, is it because of religion? Like why is humanity being hidden from this? Like from like our governments and everything, like and NASA and everything else? Like why is it like a big, and in the ETs, right? Like they don't want to tell us, they don't want to, they don't want to just land on the White House lawn for some reason, I mean,
well, they did. So because this isn't the humans on this planet are inventory. It's a slave planet. Like people call it a prison planet. There actually are prison planets, but they're prisons for people who do bad things. So this is actually a slave planet. It's an owned planet, and the Terrans were bred. You go back to the Anunnaki when they were bred to be slaves. Period. Right. So that's been going on for a long time, thousands of years. So you have that ICC who runs the planet now. That's the cabal everybody talks about, right?
Wow.
The human on this planet is chattel, is property of the cabal. It's the cabal that's preventing open contact between us and extraterrestrials. So Ika and I cannot meet, and that's a question a lot of people ask, because we're both tracked, and they'll kill him. They'll likely kill him.
Wow. Holy shit.
Do not want envoys in contact with ETs. So it's the cabal. So the thing is, why are these benevolent military organizations like the GFW, whatever, whoever's up there, why are they pussyfooting around the cabal and letting them run the show? And it's money. And I'm just using the term money. It's not actually physically money. Sometimes it is, but it's greed. It's greed. The cabal is an interstellar mafia that provides things that people are demanding, that beings are demanding off planet. They sell goods everybody wants. And the GFW keeps turning another eye around to that. Said, oh, they don't want to stop the money.
So I got a question for you. This might sound funny. So are like cigarettes and alcohol like a commodity in space and stuff like that? Like some of our stuff. And is our food a commodity in space too?
Well, yeah. Yeah. People
like they like pizza and stuff, like the ETs, like.
No, they don't sell that really. They'll sell. I've never purchased any of their stuff. Up in space. I'd have to ask about. I mean, if he would even know. But there are places in space that are places of pleasure and debauchery. Let's call it that, like a Las Vegas, right?
Yeah. So, one thing I wanted to tell you, I did hear that there's some of the corporations from Earth have a thing in space. I heard Starbucks and Pepsi have a thing in space. Like, can you believe? I don't know if that's true. Like, do you think it is? Like,
absolutely, 100%. I don't want to. I don't know if we should name them here because I might get pissed off. But there's your major, the names that you see on the stock market, they're in space.
Like AT&T, like and stuff like that, like in like the major corporations.
All of those things are all part of the cabal. Everything that's a major stock market traded organization is all cabal. It's all part of it.
So like Walmart and McDonald's, maybe like.
Yeah, I mean there would be no market for that upstairs because they don't eat garbage. So
yeah. I just have to ask questions. I have to know. You know what I mean? Like I have to know. Like I need to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on in space so bad. Like.
Yeah. So I would say like De Beers diamonds, that's up there. So there's a lot of mining that gets brought back and forth. But the big buck item is humans. So humans for food, humans for the kids with the stuff they take out of the kids. You know what I mean?
The egg chrome. Yeah.
Yeah. So kids are a big seller. So again, humans for mercenary use, humans for food, humans for slave. And humans for slave entertainment. So that would be literally entertainment, singing, dancing, that kind of stuff, painting, whatever, music, whatever your fancy is, you can buy a slave to do it for you. And also the sex slave.
See, what cracks me up about these ETs is some of them, they eat us, but they want to have sex with our women too. It's like, you want to eat our women, but you want to have sex with our women. It's like, how crazy is that? That's so insane. You know what I mean? But it's true. You get
your money's worth. You get the world.
That's horrible.
It's literally what they're doing. Literally. Yeah. So you have planets like, again, where I'm from, Era, where it's like, that's just, we don't deal with that kind of shit. There are people and races, and there's quite a lot of them that are like, that's disgusting. But it's just like on Earth. You got pirates. There's pirates in space. I met a guy once who was a pirate. He actually came from Era, and he got himself wrapped up. This is the best way to describe it, is the mafia. When you watch those old black and white movies in the mafia, that's what's in space. You see it in Star. To be fair, I have never watched Star Trek, but my suspicion is that Star Trek is not that accurate. If you want to be a little more accurate, it would be Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man made a weird joke. I don't know what to make of this. She says, "Is this why aliens are bald and broke?" I don't know if they are. They're not all bald and broke, right? I mean, like, I don't know what she means by that either. Like, I don't know.
No. I mean, some races don't have hair, but it's nothing to do with that's gonna.
Yeah. Like Pleiadians they all have like blonde. They all have blonde hair? Are they different colors, different hair colors and stuff like that, or like?
Yeah. Well, there's different. We have so there's if you go to Air, I mean, there's many Pleiadians, and this is always key, that they're not all good. In fact, most aren't, and it depends.
Really?
On the person. Yeah, it depends on the person. It's not a group. Even so like Era is a benevolent planet. No, it depends on the person. You're going to meet some lousy people everywhere. So it's not a black and white kind of thing. Humans have to understand that. It's like there's nothing black and white. You are on a planet, and I just say this ad nauseum. You are on a planet floating in space, just like everybody else who's on their planets floating in space. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
And your cabal. See, the problem is the humans on this planet are not resisting. They're basically complying with their own enslavement. They're 100%.
They're not up to standing up against Walmart. They'd rather go to Walmart and be, somewhat comfortable. You know what I mean? But like, we should be standing up to the big corporations. We should be standing up to like the government. You know what I mean? Because, it's places like Walmart that are taking like small businesses out of business. And it's the government that's fucking us over royally and not giving us freedom or sovereignty. You know what I mean? So we should be standing up to these things, but we're not. You're right. We're absolutely not.
So what do they want the ETs to do? Because there's very few people on this planet that are actually asking for it to be liberated. They're all enslaved. They're chattel. They're being harvested every once in a while. In fact, they could be facing some significant problems coming up. I mean, you are not safe here. I don't understand. It is just like this is part of the mind control. I don't know, but most people on this planet are completely clueless. They have no idea what danger they're in. They're just like livestock in a field.
Yeah.
They have no idea what the hell's going on. They think people who talk to aliens are crazy. It's like, you do you, because I mean, we're now getting to a point with this issue of commercializing consciousness, where these corporations are going to now own your mind legally. This is an extinction. We're going the way of and this isn't the first time. You have many races and species out there that have chosen to go synthetic, and that's where we're headed.
When you say synthetic, you mean like AI based, right? Or like robotic, right? Like part of the machine, right? Like kind of, is that what you mean? Like chip.
Chip. You don't have to be chip, but chip. That's part of it. I think that the chipping thing is just to pacify people. So what happened during COVID is actually a precursor to what they're going to do. So I would tell you, and I'm suspecting that most people today actually forgot what happened in 2020. So if you know, and this is what they want. So people forget. And I remember a friend of mine, he was traveling in 2020, and he couldn't get into a hotel until he showed his card, his vaccination card. See, people, you couldn't get on planes, you couldn't get into hotels, you couldn't get into restaurants without showing your vaccination card. I worked at Wichita State University. They had a surveillance system put up called co-verified, that people had to sign up and be surveilled, and I refused. They were bitching at me. I refused all of it. So people complied to all of it, and they didn't have to. And now there's a lot of lawsuits going through the courts because everything that was done, taking people's jobs, forcing them to take stuff in their bodies that was that was illegal. That's Nuremberg Code violation. But you're on a planet where there's no law. See, this is another thing people on this planet don't understand. There's no law. That's just a figment of the curated play that you're being fed. So people think there's laws and courts and stuff like that. That's just a mirage. There really is no law. All right. So what Jamie Martinez is working on now, and he's worked with RFK, and RFK understands this stuff because, well, he's had it in his family. So it's cognitive liberty. So they're merging. This is the BCI. They're merging. This is Sabrina Wallace's. I mean, if you want to know more about this,
I love Sabrina Wallace. I'm pretty friends with Karen McDonald. Karen McDonald comes on my show a lot, and Karen is good friends with Sabrina Wallace. And Karen always gives me a lot of Sabrina's intel. Like Karen, Karen works with Sabrina a lot. I'm a big fan of Sabrina Wallace. Yeah,
she just explains in detail the tech behind it. But it's commercial. Yeah, it's merging your consciousness with the cloud. That's what happens, right? So you're getting into the quantum computers.
Yeah, it's
right. And for those of us, again, you, me, and most of the people watching, this ship already sailed. We're already chipped up. We're already under control by them. It's just a matter of when they want to enact it. So we're already it's Toastville for us. It always makes me laugh when I see people who are in our community and part of the My Labs and all that, and they're all saying, I never took the vaccine, I'm safe. It's like, dude, you were an MK Ultra. You're chipped up yin yang. It's like,
plus like people don't realize it's in our and guys, this is for entertainment purposes only, and we're not giving medical advice for YouTube purposes. But like people don't realize and again, this is for entertainment, but it's in our air, it's in our water, it's in our food. You know what I mean? It's like there's almost no way to escape it. And you just got to try to live as healthy as possible. You know what I mean? You can't go to McDonald's. You can't. I mean, you got to almost test your food and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You got to try to get the most purest water possible. It's crazy that we're even at that point, but we are. You know what I mean? But like we actually are.
We've been at that point since the 70s, really.
See, it was crazy because like I never saw that growing up as a kid because like I don't know because I didn't know any better. You know what I mean? And then like I always used to listen to Art Bell growing up. I used to love Art Bell, but he would never touch on any of this stuff. And then in 2015, I had a reawakening, and like that's when I got really deep into like every conspiracy theory known to man. You know what I mean? And like that's when you learn about a lot. For me, that's when I learned about a lot of this stuff. And it's like once you learn about it, you can't go back to living a normal life. You know what I mean? Like I could never drink water out of the tap again. You know what I mean? That's just not happening for me. I mean, I guess if I was dying of thirst, but I mean, I would really choose not to. I mean, because I know what's in it. And it's not just fluoride; it's chlorine and I guess depending where you live, it's different. Like I went to Iowa recently, and they had really clean water. Or it seemed clean. But I don't know. I mean,
well water.
Yeah, but it's So where do we go from here? Like, what do you think? I mean, is there a way out of this, or what do you think? Like,
I mean, so this is all part of the new. See, they have to. Okay, we weren't asked. Those of us in the SSP, MK Ultra, and My Labs, we were part of the experiments, right? So we didn't have to give consent. So what they're trying to do now is lock down the entire population, most of the population here, by engineering voluntary compliance. So this is a digital ID, and how they're doing it is, how do we? This is, and we suspect this is part of the depopulation. So when we say depopulation, some of it is literally dead, but others are that you're no longer a sovereign person. You're no longer in control of your own consciousness, your own mind in the body. That's not your soul, right? Your consciousness soul, right? They can lock that into things. They can steal that and lock it. But this kind of stuff isn't going to take your soul. Let's put it that way. It will, however, take over your consciousness while you're walking around here on Earth. They'll have full control over that because it's commercially available. Minority Report. You think of some of those, Clockwork Orange. This is what we're talking about. So, but they need, this is key. This is how the cabal works. They need voluntary compliance to get you to go along with this. So the chips are the new thing, the digital ID and the chips. So not so much for digital ID. What they're trying to do with these chips is they're marketing it as a convenience. So you can pay with the chip. You don't have to worry about credit cards anymore. You can open up your house. This has been going on since at least 2017. You can open up your house with this, you can start your whatever, it's for convenience. You can get on the subway system without having to worry about cards. And your life is so busy and life is so hectic, right? This makes your life easy. So for your average Terran, they don't see a problem with this. They were controlling the mindset. So humanity was initially controlled with religions. That's what they used. But as people were shifting away from religion, they had to figure out another way to socially control large amounts of the population. And what they did was create science as the new God. And you'll hear people say that, I believe in science. That's a religion. You don't believe in science. But your average person, the majority of people, now worship science and push for STEM, right? STEM. That's the new God. So people, what they wanted, people trust experts. They trust science. Perfect. Now we got them where we want them, right? So the key terms here are going to be words like convenient. This is convenient for you. We're going to make you offers you can't refuse. So basically, eventually what I suspect will occur, we're fighting. We're in the fight now. Okay. It'll be something similar to what you saw during COVID, where it's kind of like you don't get the ID chip, right? Which is your new ID, right? Say you don't want that. Everybody's doing it, but you don't want it. They'll be like, well, you don't have to do it, but without it, you won't be able to access your bank account. Without the digital, everything's going to go digital, right? You won't be able to drive your car because your license is digital. You won't be able to get on a plane because access to planes is going to be digital. So that's
what, Angie, I got to tell you something. So there's I don't know if you saw this girl. She comes on my show. Her name's Amanda Joan of Hart. She's really cool. She was telling me about these data centers that are opening up, and I was like, I didn't know what it was at first, but like then I looked it up. They're opening them here in Pittsburgh too. They're opening them where she's at in Ohio. They're up for some reason. They're opening these large data centers, and I feel like it's tied into that. I'm like, why are they opening so many of these large data centers? Do you have any idea? Do you have any
100%. This is the Quantum Computer Center. This is Palantir. I can give you some names. Here's some companies that are in it. There's actually one I can pull up. It's hilarious. So there's biotech is one company. People want this, and they've trained people to want to go transhuman. So I don't like the word transhuman because it sounds cute. It sounds progress. This is where humanity is going. This is progress, transhuman. This isn't. This is synthetic cyborg human. This is no bueno. There's no good. There is no good coming out of this. So they train people to want it, to desire it, because sci-fi is cool, right?
Yeah.
I want to be, people playing video games. There's so many people who are completely addicted to video games. They live in their video game.
Yeah.
So people are already, this is what they were monitoring. People are already becoming part of their systems, right? You're going to have, like I said, I think you're going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are who can't wait to do this. This is, and it's paralleling what the Greys did. Because they're making life in society so difficult right now. Most people are dealing with serious mental health issues. And all they have to do is get involved with some of this, join this, transhuman world. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what they're all going to jump. They're all going to jump. And we have a place in Japan that's called the Transhumanist Association. They're doing this. Three Square Market in Wisconsin in 2018. They had like a chip party where people were getting chipped in like a street fair. Jam Technologies, JAMM. Then you have Epicenter, New Fusion, City Watcher. I'll pull this up. It's called dangerousthings.com. So now you can inject these chips at home. You don't need, they have kits you can buy and stick yourself with a chip.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
No, you can do that. You could do that. You could buy it right now tonight and chip yourself.
Wow.
Biohacks International, Walletmore. These things are just popping up all over the place. And like I said, this is obsolete tech. And people who are SSP that are friends of yours and come on your channel, they know this. This stuff is old stuff, right? And we know that, of course, there's nanoparticle tech. They don't even need nanoparticle tech. It's frequency tech. You don't need, and I have it on I can show people on my channel in one of the shorts, this in operation. This is V2K in operation. You don't need tech in your body to be mind controlled. But this is really a beginning stepping stone by making it palatable. And of course, another thing they're going to do is put it in the medical fields, where it's going to be sold as these miracle things. You don't have to worry. So they feed off of people's fear.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So people who are ill, people who have diseases, they have fear. Obviously, no one wants to be like that. So they're going to offer this solution to them first. And
that's scary. That's, man, holy shit. I'll see if do we have a couple of time, a little bit of time for a couple of questions, audience questions? I always like doing that. If it's going, it's a good show. If it's going good, I like to do this. So this is a really good one. And I think this ties into everything we've been talking about. This is from Sovereign Cosmic Wildman. He says, is Nassar Jassar an ET scam? What do you think?
They're not ET scams. These are cabal stories. These are ETs are not doing it. They're gone. So you don't, we're all ETs, number one. There's no ETs, no this and them. So the nefarious ETs largely left the cabal because they didn't want to deal with the shit that's been going on here. So they pretty much left. They can certainly come back in. So this idea that the Draco are gone and the Greys are gone, they'll come back in. And this is the argument I want to share with this person. We need, and there are many ETs that are fighting hard right now to liberate Earth. So keeping Earth, this cabal-controlled, ICC-controlled epicenter, Death Star, in the middle of the solar system is a really dumb idea, because they're going to have to keep monitoring this planet, because this planet is a time bomb. And once it goes synthetic, it's going to be even worse. And this is what the cabal is doing. The cabal knows this because they're under siege right now. The cabal knows they're numbered. So they're going to try to push this AI commercialized consciousness agenda like crazy right now. That's what they're going to do. So we will need benevolent ET action very soon. So a lot of this stuff that you're being fed on social media, I think just use your own discernment. If it ain't happening, it ain't happening. So you got all the medbed people, you got all the Nizara Jassara people, and they've been singing this song for years. So
for that to happen, the whole planet would have to be liberated. We would have to be going in a complete different direction, but we're not. We're going into where it seems like we're going into a situation where we're under more and more control. You know what I mean? And it's not getting any better. You know, it doesn't. I mean, I wish I could say it was, but I don't know as much as you as far as what's going on out in space, but what's going on down here is a lot of control. You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem to ever be getting any better. You know, I
mean, these airy fairy la people that are running around with their massive YouTube channels and talking about all this frou stuff that's happening. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Do you see it? It's not in my backyard.
I don't see it. I've never seen a med bed. I mean, I've seen something like similar to a med bed. It was a human who had it. It was like when I was at the conference this year, they had but that's beyond the point. You know, it's like they're not coming, is what I'm saying. Yeah. This is from one of your people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I've seen them upstairs. We have them. They're here.
Oh, okay.
They're here. I mean, it's just, but do you really think that the entire massive chemical, petroleum, big pharma corporations want med beds released?
No, absolutely not, because it would be out of business, because med
Yeah.
beds they would take care of physical health, mental health, everything. You know what I mean? Like it would, yeah. But
Well,
so this one's from, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
no, this is what we're dealing with. We need to take down these corporations, because all of this tech that we want out, whether it's ether energy or what have you, which is already here. We have all this stuff. We have warp drive, all that. That's all here. 100%.
Yeah.
It's going to, overnight, once it's released, it's going to make every single thing, these stupid computers, the government's using holographic tech. These computers are a joke. They're Stone Age. Everything we have is Stone Age.
Yeah.
It's going to eradicate fossil fuels, the car industry, chemical industry, the medical industry, the airplane industry. Everything around you right now will be obsolete. And it's let me tell you, everything you have around you right now is already obsolete. It's been obsolete for decades.
Wow. And this is one from over on your channel. This is Joanna Reamer 8154. She says, have you any updates on envoy retrieval?
No. So at the moment, it's still considered abduction. But the fight is we're fighting. Yeah. The fight is fighting. Let's just say that.
Someone wanted to ask what my opinion is on Elena Danaan. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't really have an opinion. I wish her the best. I don't have any ill will towards her, but like I don't know. I just don't. I'd rather not comment on that because I don't want her people coming after me. I don't want to talk about that. Sorry to whoever asked that question, but I just don't want to. I don't want to go there. I don't have any opinion, really. I don't. I have my own business to attend to.
I don't like naming people out in public. Right? I think that's crazy. I don't do that. I tell people, look.
I'll say like Trump said one time. I wish her the best. Didn't Trump say that about Ghislaine Maxwell?
Has your life gotten any better? I mean, if it has, and ET's coming to visit you, and life is good where you are, then that's great. But if you're living the same life, paying the same bills, I don't see any magic. I mean, I do have craft over my house, whatever the hell that means, but I don't. My life here is the same as it's always been. There's no, I'm not using free energy. I don't have my own craft. So yeah, it's business as usual as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
This is from Sovereign Cosmic Wildman again. He asked a lot of good questions. He'll probably come subscribe to you now if he isn't already, but he's a really good viewer. He's awesome. But he says, what are the various ways ETs implant people with chips? And guys, go subscribe to Andrea on her channel. It's Andrea Martin, GrowingUpAlien, a Pleiadian walk-in. Do they even need to implant people anymore? Or are they like, yeah.
No benevolent ET will implant you. Although I will say, so I think they removed them. I had holographic implants because I work with VFW. They use holographic largely. They do chip. So Bob Renault, when the Corindor base became militarized, I think it was in the 80s, because he was working with them and they needed to communicate with him, they put him in a healing chamber and they did chip him. So we had a communication chip placed in his prefrontal cortex using a medbed tech, what we call medbed tech. That's, again, a military arrangement. So no benevolent ET will chip you. Only the arseholes chip you. And I'll be honest with you, I think most ET implants are actually from Terrans, the military.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. And I don't know if this next statement's true, but this one's from the Andromedan, and he says, "Why do Pleiadians do not like the Andromedans? Is that true? Do they not like each other?" Or?
Oh, I don't have any. I never heard that. Again, we're not a. So, are there some Pleiadians that don't like Andromedans? Personally, I do have a bone to pick with them, but again, it's just a one-on-one. I don't think there's no official animosity between us at all, for sure. But I can't speak for individual people. I personally do have a problem with the Andromedans. Yeah, but that's me.
I was laughing at a comment one of your viewers made. He says, "This is funny." I just have to put this. He says, I have to put this up. I'm probably going to eat a lot of crow for this, but I want to put this. It's funny. He says that people can't even use discernment between birds and an armada of UFO.
You know, look up. You know, you want to see UFO? Just go outside and look up. Get a good cell phone, and videotape them. Just look up. They're there. They're all over the fucking place. People are being. I don't understand why we're all being spammed by them right now. Actually.
Yeah, and maybe they really did see UFOs at the GSIC. I'm not saying they didn't. They could have. They absolutely could have. Like, you know, I know when we were at the Full Disclosure Now conference, we saw something. So we saw real weird shit. Like they constantly have UFOs and militaries flying over those conferences and shit. Like, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't see UFOs. You know, like honestly, to be honest, like it makes sense that ETs would show up at a conference where a bunch of people are going to be, right? You know, and I don't know, you know.
Actually, visitors show up there too. You're going to meet visitors at those conferences too.
What do you mean? Like aliens?
Real ETs. We don't use the word ET alien because it doesn't make any sense. So we like to use the word visitors. So people visiting from other planets or inner Earth will be at those conferences.
Like, probably a lot of Venusians, right? Like because Venusians look like us.
We got everybody here. I mean, you're not going to see a Arcturian or like a, you know, reptilian or something. You're going to see human, other, you know, so inner Earth people. Yeah, Venusians, Tau Ceti, Alpha Centauri, Proxima Centauri, you know, you name it, you know.
You resonate with the Venusian material, right? Like a lot of it. Like, does it resonate with you?
You know, I never did per se until Frank Chile, because Frank's Venusian envoy, and he got me I ended up doing a lot of telepathy with Val Thor for him. So yeah, that's how I never talked to Val before until Frank Chile. So Frank Chile got me all hooked up with the Venusians. And yeah, I think they're cool beans. Yeah.
And this is from Ryan L. And good question, Ryan. He says, do you think Earth is also a loosh farm?
Oh yeah, it's a farm of all farms. Of anything you want to farm, this is Greenland.
Wow. Let me see. I'm looking for the best. This is someone from your channel. I think this is. The Mathis Chronicles says, "Is there an RV where the Cabal banking system will, or is there a remote view coming where the Cabal banking system will crash? Gold-backed currency as fiat system seems to be crashing."
Yeah, so there are so many things happening right now. Essentially, this is what I would be looking for, is the system collapsing. I don't see it happening right now. That doesn't mean it's not happening. So I suspect, and I get, you know, there's no way to remote view this because there's way too many timelines. People need to understand that right now we're fighting this war through time. So in time travel. So we're actually the Cabal is using time travel and the Benevolence are using time travel. So we're actually fighting timelines right now. It's insane. So that's actually where this war is back and forth through time. And I think I'm like I said, anyone who, I mean, I guess there are people who could remote view this and just hit it. It's going to be luck. Anyone who tells you what's going to happen is pulling your leg, because it is a mess right now. The timelines are like just God. So what might happen, and you just gotta look, like I said, look out your window. I don't tell people to watch news because it's bullshit, but just kind of see what the bad guys are doing, right? So if they're really, which they're doing, pushing this digital ID, trying to get us synthetic, I think we will lose some of the population to this. Some will go there, and that's fine. But you might see a lot of shit hitting the fan, bad things happening before there's an intervention. And here's why I think that might be how it's going to happen, because a lot of the people on this planet don't get it. They're really not ready for contact, to be honest. But we're at a point now where we don't have time to fool around. So stuff is going to start to have to happen. And you'll have a lot of people on this planet that are going to go, you know, tits up, whatever, right? They're going to go ontological shock. They're going to go bananas. And there's really nothing we can do about that. They had plenty of time to prepare and they just didn't. But I suspect, and Val mentioned this, and some other people mentioned this upstairs, that if things get really dangerous, really bad, they'll send an EMP, which will look like a solar flare, and that'll stop the Cabal from, killing us. I mean, the Cabal can launch DEWs. They can they can destroy the crust. They can set off volcanoes. They can do another Atlantis. They fully have that capacity. That will be stopped. A nuclear war, nuclear weapons, though, that's always been stopped. Nuclear weapons affect space, so because they're they create like a rift in this fabric of space-time, and it's a real problem for everybody else. So they'll always stop those. But yeah, that's my suspicion. I think shit's gonna have to move forward. So this is what you're referring to there would be like cleanup stuff after the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, we'll do one more question because I know you're probably busy, and but I thought this was a really good one to end on because I wanted to explain to people. Okay, so Sovereign Cosmic Wildman says, does she think it was her that caused her to bilocate or an external alien force? And I just want to tell you this, Sovereign Cosmic. So Andrea is a Pleiadian walk-in, so she already has like alien powers, you could say, or something like. Is that right?
Everyone here has the same. We're all the same. We're humanoids. Everyone has the same power.
Yeah, like we just how you tap into it, right? It's like how you learn how to tap into it.
Well, they bilocate. I used to work with the GFW, and they would bilocate me. So I don't bilocate myself usually. I get bilocated. So I was bilocated to the craft.
Yeah, like I don't know how to bilocate, but I've learned, like when I was with this girl a month ago, and she told me I was like. That I had learned how to project my prefrontal cortex onto her, like so I can project. I learned how to manipulate energy, and that happened from having an entity attachment. I had to learn how to move energy off me, and then as I learned how to move energy off me, I learned how to project my energy, and I can do it. I can do it remotely, and I can do it. It's better if I'm in person with someone. I can really project my energy onto them, not in a harmful way or anything, more like in a loving way. But like I can also do it remotely too, which is insane. I never thought I could do that. It's cool though.
Yeah, everybody can do these things. This is what the Cabal lied to people. Because they didn't want anybody doing this stuff, right? So everybody can do this. There isn't, and this is what the ETs always say. Like we're no different from you. We're just like you. There is no difference. And people need to stop. Looking at like. Then and again, that's all that I can't stand that. People who say like we're ascending, we need to fix ourselves. Ascension symptoms. Those are mind control. That's actually frequency attacks.
Yeah.
It's so bad. People are buying all this, drinking this stupidity that's being force fed them. Is bullshit. There's no ascension. No one's ascending. Your body is not going to turn into a crystalline. Ika's body is not crystalline. He'll tell you it is. He's a liar. No, we do not. We have carbon bodies. No one has crystalline bodies. You're not going to turn into a glowing crystalline human. That's not going to happen. And it's just such bull that people are drinking. It's just, they got to get their minds into reality and something. Get back to earth and start realizing that this is not. It's just
one thing interesting that that me and you are a little bit different in opinion on is you don't buy into simulation theory at all. Whereas I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like I'm like kind of sometimes I don't know. Like you don't like the simulation theory at all.
I was talking to Nate about that because Nate and I talk a lot. And I'm like, so I prefer, and it's just missing words really. So I prefer illusion, right? So the Cabal is creating an illusion.
I like that.
Simulation isn't. I mean, it's the same. I'm not. So I think what some people might misinterpret is that when you say simulation, they may think there's like some kind of computer program or something. But it's like the Cabal is creating, a simulation overlay, right? So it's basically we are brainwashed and programmed to believe what we see around us is actual, like all there is, basically. So we're all actors in a play. So the Cabal orchestrates a theater, including things like language. They created that, including things like, what we've just been talking about, like all this digital ID is all new tech. Woo, this is so great. That's a lie. This is all old shit. So they constantly lie and create an illusion, and your average person buys it. So yeah, in and of itself, yes, is it a simulation? Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Nate. I started to smile because I got to meet Nate in person. It was so crazy because I never thought I would meet like some of these people from podcasts, and like it was so cool to meet Nate because it's like we did so many shows together, and then like he's really cool in person too. He's a really good guy. He's really interesting person. Deep thinker. I'm sure you know that because you talk to him.
We're both asinine smartasses, so we seem to hit it off that way.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, Andrea, this was awesome. I always love having you on the show. It's amazing. I'm glad we were able to stream to your channel today too. So that was really cool. And do you want to promote anything? And thank you. Like this was awesome.
I want to promote on my channel. I want to promote Rob again. Like Rob is rock, dude, right? So we want folks to come on and subscribe to his channel, which is Typical Skeptic. Rob, you've archived. And you got hit so bad, man. Those cabal assholes really screwed you over. And it's like the information on your channel. You bring everybody on. It's awesome, and there's some super cool, like you had Drago Reed and Penny Bradley. So many, there's so many people I can't even name them. But it's just worth.
Ray Cassidy coming up this week. She's been coming on recently. She's really cool. She has a good information. I like her, and I have Gene Decode. I like Gene Decode.
He was on, Gene. Yeah, it's mind numbing. The people that you have, and it's a learning. It's learning. This watch stuff, learn stuff, right? Process information through your mind and see what makes sense to you.
Yeah. You know what I say, Andrea? I always tell people, like in my personal life, I'm really skeptical. Like if you ask me something in personal, I'll probably be like very skeptical of it. But like on my show, I just let people come on free range. I don't question anything. I just because I feel like I want people to be able to tell their story, and I don't want to judge people. You know what I mean? I want them to be happy about like coming on, and like, I don't want to get, you know what I mean? I don't know. So it's like, and I feel like it's time where people need to kind of tell their story, it's like, and we have to believe some of this stuff. We have to be skeptical about stuff, but we have to believe stuff too, because, a lot of this stuff isn't like the paranormal and UFOs and stuff. It's not, I don't know when it was ever transparent. You know what I mean? It's always been kind of like, between the veil, so it's like, you have to be believing of some stuff. You can't be like, right. That's just kind of me speaking, venting, about like the way I feel about stuff, I don't know.
Well, no, I think you nailed it, because and that's what we do on my channel. Is a bunch of people who have had these experiences, and they're like, what the hell is this shit? Is it real? Is it not? Nobody's monetizing their lives on my channel. These are just regular people, just like, a lot of people come on. They've had these experiences. They have these memories. They have chips. They have stuff going on, and they're like, what the hell is this? Is this real? I can't tell you what I went through. I'm a hard evidence person. I want hard evidence, and we're all pissed off. That's one thing on my channel we always say. Stop flying the ships around, land the bastards. What the hell do you want? We need hard proof. We're sick and tired of telepathy. We're sick and tired of astral. We want hard proof, and they aren't giving it to us. Yeah. So, that makes me angry for sure that we're not getting the hard proof. But I want to be there, just like you are. For people who have experiences their whole life and they're questioning, we're our own, the real people, I'll call them the real people, are their own hardest critic. Because I still question stuff now. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, is this just one weird veil and there really are no other planets? Maybe there are no ETs. Are we just locked in this weird, like, I'll come up with all kinds of shit. And I'll just be like, what the fuck is real? And I think if you don't do that, and I've seen craft up close. I've physically met extraterrestrials. I've been on ships. I've bilocated to places. I've seen this stuff. And it's just like I can't, like, I don't know. It's just weird.
You're still questioning it, you're saying. You're still questioning it.
It's just, yeah.
So do you think sometimes you're thinking like, was it military or something, or like, are you thinking it was like an illusion, or like, what goes through your mind? Like what, like,
Well, so I went up on craft when I was a child, like 4 years old with Ika.
yeah,
Right. So kids don't think, kids is just normal. Right. So, but the abductions were always military. I've been on a solar warden craft. I saw a solar warden craft. So,
wow,
yeah, I mean, I've had people that have been on TR3Bs, they were abducted on TR3Bs. And that's why it's important for regular people to have a safe place to go to say, I think this happened to me, or, and as their memories come in, they can be like, I remember. And then when we share stories and all the people you bring on your channel, this really helps people to come to terms with what they've seen. Because when somebody, say, who's been in the SSP, like Drago Reed, right, on your channel, or Penny Bradley, and they describe something. So for a listener, that's gonna be like, oh my God, I saw the same thing.
yeah.
And that vindicates their mind, like, I'm not crazy, I'm not imagining this, and it just helps to ground you. And we need a community of folks who are supporting each other.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. And people who are really questioning things, like, and want to get to the bottom of stuff, and that's what I like about like the people like you and Nate, you know what I mean? Because you guys are really like, keyed into like what's really going on, not just like the facade of what we're being shown. Like,
right.
It's like the Wizard of Oz pulling the strings behind the curtain, you don't find out it's the wizard until the end, and then you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Then you realize, I don't know. It's just like, is that what we're living in? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know,
Existential crises are common for us.
It's fucking crazy. I know that,
It's deep, dark, and delicious. So I'm going to say, I mean, and that's what I like to do with my channel is like, I haven't posted all week because I was going through a really, really dark, existential, bad, and I didn't want to say stuff or put on stuff that I know I'll regret later, because I was really bad. They mind control me, where I get really bad depression, anhedonia, but this was not them. This was just me, not being really happy with living on a slave planet. And it was just like, dying here, and so it was pretty dark existential dive, which a lot of people experience, and they have no one who understands them, and who, they can share these ups and downs, this massive roller coaster experience that we're riding.
I agree. That's really well said. Yeah. And well, this was amazing, Andrea. Wow, this was awesome. Yeah. And is there anything else any final words you want to say before we sign off? And
oh God, we'll have to do a plan B for the UFO footage.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh man, we'll have to do a part 2. Yeah.
I'll set it up a lot better than what I have now. Putzing around. I don't want to putz around, but yeah, I think people just have to, stick together. We need to stick together. Number one, right? Our community.
Yeah.
For sure. We need to support each other. You need to be discerning, right? You question stuff, right? Don't just believe everything. Don't believe me, of course, anybody, right? But I like to have a community. We need to get to know each other, right? We need to sit down and have like you and I have a conversation. We all need to get to know each other. I think that's super important. And you just have to be aware. You have to be reasonable. Being a hopium person and being a dark la person, neither of those are good. Try to find a middle ground where we're optimistic that stuff's going to keep fighting. Be optimistic. And you don't have to resist. You can just step aside, So if they're doing some crazy shit, just step aside. I can't stress enough, and I usually mention this on my channel, to be really careful about any of these craft you see. We don't know who they are. You don't know. And Ika's always said this, right? You don't know who's on there. You don't know who they are. Don't just believe what people tell you, right? Because you got to keep yourself safe. And yeah. You know?
That's a really good point. I think that's a really good point. That's a really great way to, yeah. But like, I definitely want to do a part 2 for the UFO footage. Like, I love looking at UFO footage. That's my favorite, you know? So like, definitely I'll get a hold of you. And whenever you're ready to do it again, you know, we can for sure, you know?
Yeah. Brilliant. That's grand. Yeah. I got them on my, people want to see them. They're in my, I have them in the shorts on my channel. I've been spamming the shorts with UFO footage. So it's there, you know, for folks who want.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll check it out. I'll check that. Yeah. Thanks. And yeah, thanks, Andrea. And thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. And I'll see you guys soon.